rainy in South Florida, but baseball to be played tonight. The Atlanta Braves aren't slowing down right now. They have steamrolled the Marlins throughout this season. And today, on 9/11, all throughout baseball, we will never forget. And Major League Baseball tonight reflects and remembers. Hi, everyone. Rich Waltz, along with Tommy Hutton. The Marlins and the Braves play a baseball game tonight. For the Marlins, it's a game of real significance, and that is Jose Fernandez makes his last start of what, in all likelihood, will be a Rookie of the Year campaign.
Rich, no place I'd rather be than right here. This is going to be a fun night. Jose Fernandez, look at his rankings in the National League. These are not amongst rookies. These are amongst all the pitchers in the National League. Second in ERA, first in fewest hits per 9 innings, first in strikeouts per 9, and how about opposing batters hitting 181? The other thing, Jose is 8-0 at home with a 1.19 ERA here at Marlins Park.
And he's handled things so well. I mean, he's handled all of this.
And the Miami Marlins front office, coaching staff, and players, as we remember those who lost their lives.
The Marlins, going with Fernandez, he's handled it so well. Let's join now
the men and women who
Dick
currently
Sanford,
serve our nation,
the PA voice
both at home and abroad,
of Marlins Park.
And we honor a pledge made 12 years ago today we shall never forget. In their memory, we ask that you join us as we observe a moment of silence. We ask that you please remain standing. Honoring America tonight with her performance of our national anthem, we present Sergeant Bridget Sanchez of the Miami-Dade Police Department.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming on the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Hands up on a nice round of applause for Sergeant Bridget Sanchez. And we thank the multi-agency South Florida Police and Fire Rescue Color Guard for presenting our nation's colors.
Marlins Park, where the Marlins get ready to take on the Atlanta Braves. The Fish and the Braves. Coming up, Jose Fernandez takes the mound for the final time in 2013. Marlins Park. Let's go out to center field. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine. Guys.
All right, Rich, thank you very much, and good evening again, everybody. Can the Braves put together these monster innings against Jose Fernandez? That'll be their challenge tonight, but so far, they've been able to bunch it all together in this series, Jeff.
Yeah, 2 games, 18 innings. They've only scored in 3 of them. 3 innings, 12 hits, and 9 runs. They've been able to string those hits together, a lot of them doubles, and they're putting up crooked numbers, and that's all they've needed to best the Marlins so far.
The Marlins have been a little sloppy, as you saw, the wild pitch, the miscue in those innings. You combine all that, and the Braves have done their damage with big innings and responding after the Marlins came back with 3 in the bottom of the first last night, 2 more in the top of third to take the lead.
Yeah, the Marlins have actually out-hit the Braves, but they just haven't been able to put them together in the same inning like they have. The other night, 5 hits and 5 runs in just the 4th inning.
Did you get your shirt? Here it is, the big shirt going around the team today. We'll see. Jose for ROY. He'll make a run out of tonight in his final start of this season.
What does that
going
mean?
For his 12th win. Roy Hobbs is a big
Roy,
fan of the natural. He is the natural on the hill. His last start, little advantage coming up.
Captain of the ship, aye. Welcome to the space program, sky high. This is for the fan who wanna get so fly. I'm gonna take you all the way. I am the captain of the ship, aye. Welcome to the space program, sky high. This is for the fan who wanna get so fly. I'm gonna take you all the way. 1 for the party, 2 for the good time, 3 for the get ready to rock and rip rhyme. This is the headline time, cause I spit fine. Check the mic, 1, 2, 3, and then I get mine. Blazing crazy, hotter than an AZ. It's good in the air. I'm so
For the final time this year, rookie right-hander Jose Fernandez on the hill. Start number 28. And he takes aim at the Atlanta Braves, a team that just 2 weeks ago beat him 2-1 in Atlanta. Pinch-a-penny brings you the first pitch. And here we go. Jordan Schaefer, Justin Upton, Freddie Freeman against Fernandez. First pitch, fastball. It's a strike at 96 miles an hour.
Early on, Rich, it's always good to see the rhythm that Jose gets in. If he's not overthrowing, that was a good pitch. Perfect pitch there to start Schaefer out with.
Fernandez, his last time out, was dominant and nearly unhittable. In fact, the only hit was a little squibber, a 1 hit in just 7 innings. Fernandez misses away, and it's 2-1. That was in the 7-0 win over Washington. Schaefer fouls it off quickly. It's 2-2.
And I think early on tonight, the other thing to watch for is Jose's working with Coy Hill because of that thumb injury. He's worked so well with Jeff Mathis, and they've really been on the same page. It'll be interesting to watch these two work together tonight.
Mathis out for a few more days at least. Fastball is up, and the count's 3-2. Fox track shows it was on the black and at the letters. 3-2 coming. Smack to left field, hit pretty well. Yelich goes back, won't get it. Off the wall it goes. One hop, Yelich picks it up. Schaefer, with plenty of speed, will stop at second base. And the Braves have a leadoff double here in the first.
By Sam Holbrook.
Here come the Braves. It's brought to you by JM Lexus. You've seen Schaefer. Now you get into the big bats. Justin Upton, Freddie Freeman, Evan Gattis, Brian McCann, Chris Johnson. Andrelton Simmons hits 7th. Elliott Johnson hits 8th. Mike Minor hits 9th.
Not your normal number 2 hitter that you would expect to try to hit a ground ball to the right side, but Justin Upton can drive a lot of runners in. That time Jose fell behind. He had to come with a fastball to Schaefer.
Of course, in that loss to the Braves, the man on deck, Freddie Freeman, was the key hitter. He hit the 2-run homer in the first inning. Last night, in an odd injury, Justin Upton fouled one off his back right knee.
They had to come out of the game. There was some concern whether he'd play tonight or not, but Justin Upton back in there.
Oh, 1 coming. Breaking ball, fly ball towards the line. Stanton is over. That'll push the runner. Schaefer tags and is on his way to third. And so the Braves now able to get him over. Now you've got Freeman and Gattis trying to get him in. Here's the defense tonight behind Jose Fernandez, brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic, Florida.
Hey, you take a look at the outfield with Yelich, Ruggiano, and Stanton. Polanco at third, Lomo over at first. Up the middle is Echeverria and Ed Lucas. And we talked a little bit about Coy Hill behind the plate. Justin Upton did try to take a shot the other way and hit the fly ball to move Schaefer over to third.
All right, remember in Atlanta, the first pitch he threw to Freddie Freeman was a changeup, and Freeman hit it out. 98-mile-an-hour fastball. And it's 1-0.
We've talked about Freeman, an MVP candidate, .444 batting average with runners in scoring position.
Freeman would double on his next at bat on the first pitch, hitting a fastball. So a breaking ball is lined foul. It's a ball and a strike. Very nice. 66% of the time he'll get that runner in from third. You see the major league average right at 50%. Fernandez comes in 98 miles an hour, and the count now 1-2.
It's amazing when you see the batting averages with runners in scoring position. Of the top 6, Freddie Freeman is the only non-Cardinal.
The Cardinals have dominated that stat all year long. 1-2. Got him. Fastball.
Redemption. He hurt him in Atlanta, and Jose came back with a nasty pitch to strike him out here. Not only is that a lightning fastball, it's on a perfect spot. It's borderline. It's probably off the plate, but Freeman knows with a man at third, too close to take.
Now, here is Evan Gattis, who's been doing major damage with every hit over the last week, ever since going down to AAA for 3 days. Breaking ball misses in, and it's 1-0. And Gattis has continued that trend here in this series, knocking home 2 runs in each of the first 2 games.
Go back a third game. he had 2 RBIs. So he's had 3 consecutive games of 2 RBIs.
A swing and a miss, and it's 1-1. A couple breaking balls to open the at bat. Jordan Schaefer is at third base. He led off with a double. Upton moved him with a fly ball. Gattis, who's slugging right at .500. Major League average slugging percentage is .398. All the way to the screen, and it bounces back. And remember last night how the game ended with Jake Marisnick caught off second on a ball just like that.
Part of the reason Schaefer didn't take off right away is that he remembered that. I mean, it could go the other way, but it comes back. Coy Hill plays it nicely. The last start that Jose had when he was just outstanding against the Nationals, he had everything working in the first inning. Right now, he's just trying to get a feel. We've seen a good curveball. We've seen a little misfire on that last fastball.
Breaking ball, Gattis to Hopper. Echeverria on to first in time. And the kid gets out of the first, leaving Schaefer at third. Marlins first swings coming up. By Toyota, let's go places. By AT&T U vs. TV. Check availability, 1-800-PICK-AT&T. Rethink possible. By Just for Men, mustache and beard. And by Checkers, feast on. Goodyear Blimp is with us tonight. So are some clouds and some rain, as you can see, scattered throughout South Florida. Jose Fernandez gave up a leadoff double, but that's it to the Braves in the top of the first. And here in the bottom of the first, the Marlins will try to figure out a tough lefty who's had a really nice year for the Atlanta Braves, and that's Mike Minor, the 25-year-old out of Vanderbilt.
It's a guy, Rich, they've had lots of opportunities to figure him out this year. He's already had 5 starts against the Marlins this season. 2-1, respectable ERA at .366. Good live fastball, it sinks. Curveball, changeup, he'll double up on the changeup. And he's had a terrific year for Freddie Gonzalez and the Braves.
Marlins line up a little bit of a tweak here and there with this lefty on the mound. You've got Adeiny Echeverria, Placido Polanco, and Christian Yelich to open things up against Minor, who sails one outside. Echeverria 4 for 14 against Minor this year. Two guys in the lineup that have probably had the most success against him, Placido Polanco and Justin Ruggiano. Giancarlo Stanton with a lot of at-bats.
in his career has 3 homers against him. That one flipped foul and out of play.
And not a high average, but everything he's hit has been hit a long way. Minor's been very consistent this year. He's 6-3 at home. He's 7-3 on the road.
It's certainly a frontline starter for the Braves once the bell rings in October. Up the middle, into center field, base hit. Echeverria is aboard. So the Marlins lineup looks this way against Minor and the Braves. J.M. Lexus brings it to you. You've seen Echeverria. We told you Polanco, good numbers against this lefty. Christian Yelich gets the start in left. Giancarlo Stanton hits cleanup. Ruggiano slotted behind him. Lucas behind him. Morrison slides down to the 7 spot. Coy Hill to start for the injured Jeff Mathis. And Jose Fernandez, who has swung the bat very well of late, hits 9th. And here now is Polanco.
Well, the Marlins have responded with Jose Fernandez on the mound. In Jose's last 17 starts, the Marlins are 13-4.
Polanco swings through it. Polanco got the start against Minor. His last start, Minor's against the Fish, was end of August on the 31st. No decision in a 5-4 Atlanta win in 11 innings.
Tell you what, he's pitched 2 really good games here in Miami. An ERA of 0.75 in his 2 starts here.
One and 2. Braves winners last night 4-3. They got the opener 5-2 on Monday. Tap towards short, might be 2. Simmons to Johnson, on to Freeman for the double play. So the Braves get a pair of outs. Defensively, Atlanta, brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic, Florida.
Well, Freddie Gonzalez has thrown this defense out there with Gattis, Schaefer, and Justin Upton in the outfield. Chris Johnson, Simmons, Elliott Johnson, Freddie Freeman, the first baseman, Brian McCann behind the plate. Situation where you'd like to see a little movement, but because Polanco fell behind quickly with 2 strikes, you get your hands tied a little bit if you're Mike Redmond.
This has been a tough at bat this year for Christian Yelich. 0 for 6, 4 strikeouts against Mike Minor.
We've seen Christian Yelich get better and better against left-handed pitching. It's a tough matchup, as you just pointed out. He's still hitting below 200 against lefties, but he's gotten better over the last 4 or 5 matchups.
Went after the 2-0 pitch. It's 2-1. There's Stanton waiting on deck.
Yelich had that good day against the lefty Travis Wood in Chicago.
Minor catches the corner. 2-2. Mike Redmond's ball club looking for their 54th win. The Braves have steamed to 87-57. Yelich, little tapper. Elliott Johnson throws it away. It's kicked. It rolls down the line. Yelich to second. It looked like he was going to beat the throw. The ball and Yelich all got there at the same time. It got by Freeman and then went down the right field line.
Put base hit down right now, Rich. It's going to be a base hit and an error. And if it isn't, then there's something wrong. He does have that throw beaten. It gets by. He gets a good look at the ball. So heads up on Yelich's part. Always be aware when you're heading up the line. So a hit and an error, and he's in scoring position.
Now here is Stanton, and we talked about the odd numbers against Minor. 3 for 16, but all 3 have been homers. This year, 1 for 10, and obviously that one, a home run. Breaking ball for a strike, and it's 0-1. Miami has a couple hits against Minor, but only Yelich remains out at second with 2 outs. Off the end of the bat, he flips it into right field for a base hit, and Yelich will score. Giancarlo Stanton gives the Marlins and Jose Fernandez a 1-0 lead.
Well, Giancarlo finally gets something other than a home run against Minor, and you love to see that. He just gets enough of it. Probably broke his bat. It was off the end of the bat, but the error allowed Yelich to get to second, and he comes in to score, and the guys on the bench are probably saying, all right, Jose, there's your run. Go get him.
Now Ruggiano, and Ruggiano's number is good against Minor. He comes inside and misses.
By the way, Rich, that's something you'd like to see Stanton do more of. Hey, the long ball is wonderful, but just to get those base hits, drive-in runs that way.
Ruggiano hit a 2-run homer against him the last time he saw him. Late call and a strike. That's 1-1. Yelich beating out an infield hit. The throwing error by Johnson looms large. Ruggiano behind the count 1-2.
Yeah, the Marlins have put together 3 hits in this inning.
Count still 1-2. The Marlins and the Braves finish the series tomorrow at 12:40. And the pitching matchup isn't quite Nathan Eovaldi against Alex Wood.
There have been some changes.
There have been some changes. Ruggiano a tapper towards short. Simmons shovels. We'll tell you about those changes. The Marlins get a run here, and Giancarlo Stanton drives it in. Anthem cam is with us tonight, and we've got it strategically placed right behind home plate. Look at this, the breaking ball from Fernandez. How cool is that?
That is cool. Got the ground ball off the bat of Gattis.
There you can see phantom cam behind home plate. Brian McCann leading it off. Chris Johnson, Andrelton Simmons to follow. And Fernandez misses away. For some of you that haven't been with us the last couple of nights, phantom cam is a state-of-the-art, super duper slow motion camera that slows things down slower than you've ever seen in high definition. Tonight they've got 3,300 frames per second dialed up on phantom cam. 12:40 tomorrow. Marlins and Braves. Visit your local Subway restaurant. Get a voucher for a discounted $5 ticket. All seniors 55 and older can get a complimentary ticket on Senior Ticket Thursdays. Presented by Wellmax Medical Centers. Here's Chris Johnson, and Johnson takes a strike. Speaking of tomorrow, the matchup for tomorrow was slated to be Nathan Eovaldi and Alex Wood. The Braves, instead of Alex Wood, are going with Freddie Garcia. And there was some discussion tonight that the Marlins might not go with Nathan Eovaldi tomorrow. That possibly Brian Flynn would be moved up. As of now, though, it's still Eovaldi who is slotted in to start against Wood, but that could change.
Yeah, it's been a rough go for Alex Wood, the lefty, the last two starts. 7 innings, giving up 17 hits and 11 runs. A couple of quick outs for Jose. And as always, we see him field his position very well, too.
Craig Minervini's got more on the matchup tomorrow.
Yeah, Rich, they were talking about Nathan Eovaldi coming in with a tight back today. Red said maybe coming out of his car, whatever he did, it's tight. And it sounded like more chances than not that he will not pitch in the game tomorrow, and that it will be Flynn on Thursday, and then we'll see day-to-day on Eovaldi's situation.
Yeah, they may see how the back feels by the end of the game. But you're right, it could be Garcia against Flynn tomorrow. Simmons swings and misses.
That'd be too bad, too, if Eovaldi misses the Braves. He's pitched extremely well against Atlanta. He hadn't given up a run in 15 innings.
Andrelton Simmons 0 for the series. Sends that one to left center. Hits that one deep to the base of the wall. Simmons to second. The Braves have 2 hits, and they both have been doubles, and both have been well hit.
And both have come from guys that are guys you don't concern yourself with that much. Jordan Schaefer, Andrelton Simmons, you mentioned he hadn't gotten a hit this series. But a guy who makes contact, has some pop. He has 15 home runs this year. Stay with us. It takes a while on Phantom Cam.
Bouncer, left side. Polanco cuts it off and makes the play. And Elliott Johnson is out. And so is Jose Fernandez out of the second. 1-0 Fish. And tonight, baseball remembers 9/11/2001. Here in Miami tonight, look at the sunset. 1-0 Marlins on top of the Braves in the bottom of the second with a Jose Fernandez start. Mike Minor for the Braves, and you can see the patches that not only the Braves and the Marlins are wearing, but everybody in baseball today has the remembrance patches. And if you don't get an official patch, you improvise.
You just go red, white, and blue.
Ed Lucas in the air. Evan Gattis surrounds it and makes the catch. Gattis, you watch him in left field. You know, in the outfield, guys have elegant gloves. Sometimes they wear batting gloves under their gloves. But he just looks like a hitter that threw a glove on and ran out to left field.
Just give me a glove.
Yeah.
Let me get out there. When do I hit?
Now Logan Morrison. Morrison takes a strike. Lomo against this lefty. Breaking ball fouled at the plate.
Lomo's hung in there against Minor. He's done a pretty good job.
1 for 6 this year. 4 for 16 with a home run in his career. One and two. That would be strike 3 called. Breaking ball that came back, caught the plate, and down goes Morrison, second out of the second. Tonight, The Ultimate Fighter premieres on Fox Sports 1. World champion Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate bring their rivalry to the house as coaches for the first time ever. Women will compete along with the men to see who is the Ultimate Fighter. The new season of Ultimate Fighter premieres Wednesday, 10 Eastern, Fox Sports 1. Coy Hill, as Tommy pointed out, Hill getting the start. Jeff Mathis, a thumb contusion, a bruise. And so until it heals, the Marlins will go with Hill and Rob Brantley. And Hill lines one over the head of Andrelton Simmons. And that'll get Jose Fernandez to the plate. Not only did Fernandez pitch well against the Nationals, he had a fine night at the plate.
Well, he had a couple of hits. Aside from all the pitching things that he has done this year in his rookie season, he leads all Marlins pitchers in hits and sacrifice bunts as well.
You saw the exchange between Fernandez and McCann at home plate as Fernandez arrived at the plate. Little tapper up the line. Minor gets him. Just gets him. By a step. Marlins lead Hill at first. 1-0 Fish after 2. tires that go the distance, inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. 1-0. Marlins on top of the Braves. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig.
Rich, thank you very much. We took a look at the starting pitchers who have won Rookie of the Year honors since 1980. Overall, including relievers, 18 pitchers have won Rookie of the Year since 1980. What kind of company is Jose Fernandez in? Some big names. Dave Righetti had the best ERA of the bunch since 1980, 2.05. You see the strikeouts. Fernandez very much in line with everybody except Gooden and Nomo. And look at the teams. Those guys played on very good teams, many of those playoff teams. Dontrell Willis was 14-6. His at the 3.30 ERA. That's 3.3 or less since 1980. And certainly Jose Fernandez's numbers are right there with his ERA coming in at 2.23 and down just a notch right now at 2.20. We'll see in his last bid here if he can make a run and then have it hold up. He sort of might be the clubhouse leader here, guys, if he has a good performance tonight. Then he's got to wait and see what happens in the back nine.
Yeah, and I think everyone's focused on Yasiel Puig as the closest competition in our AT&T U-verse Twitter poll. Rookie of the Year, Fernandez or Puig? I pick Jose, I pick Puig. Hashtag it and just send it out on Twitter. We'll count up the votes.
I did a little looking today, and Puig was 0 for 4 last night. Puig, since the All-Star break, in over 40 games, is hitting 298. 293 in that area. So he's come down a little bit.
Since the All-Star break, Jose's been maybe the best pitcher in baseball. That one is fouled towards the Braves dugout.
Since the All-Star break, Jose Fernandez has gone 6-1 in 9 starts with a 1.33 ERA. We also had a question or a tweet or an email last night, Rich, about Dontrell Willis's rookie year. And it's interesting. Dontrell had 27 starts. This is Jose's 28th start. So very similar. Dontrell pitched 160 and 2/3 innings. Jose at closing in on 170. Dontrell certainly pitched for a better ball club in 2003 and was 14-6. But his ERA was over a run higher at 3.30.
The strikeout of Mike Minor to open up the third. Now second time through for the Braves. Schaefer and Justin Upton. Schaefer doubled back in the first. Here's another look from Phantom Cam. Four-seamer.
Good old four-seam fastball. So the bottom line is that Jose Fernandez has had a much more dominant season in the pitching categories.
Well, one of the phrases that you used there was better team, and
he pitched for the 03 World Series team.
And I
crying out loud,
that's something to keep into perspective. Obviously, ERA has become the number that you look at probably more than wins and losses in the Cy Young voting. King Felix certainly helped that. Even Zach Greinke, I believe, when he won the Cy Young, didn't win 20 games. That used to be the hallmark. Coy Hill is out to talk to Fernandez. But, I mean, the Marlins have not played well, obviously, this year. They've won just 53 games. 30 wins at home for the Marlins. That's it. Just 30 wins at home. A dozen of those have come in Jose starts.
Well, in his 27 starts, the Marlins have gone 17-10. They've played 7 games over 500. He's not happy with his curveball right now. He really showed his emotion on that last one. That's one of the reasons I think Coy Hill went out to talk to him.
Morrison, and Fernandez is over there to get it. So 2 outs here in the third. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Now Justin Upton flied to right back in the first.
right now doesn't have the command of that pitch that he had in his last outing against the Nationals. And I don't think he's thrown a changeup to this point.
Missed again with a breaking ball. It's 2-0.
That's that one. He starts at a hitter. He locked him up. Usually on a breaking ball, you're not going to get the high strike call. All right, he keeps at it until he throws a good one. There was no way Justin Upton thought he was going to get a curveball there.
Woody gets 2-1.
Heat.
Two and two. You see him reach down for the dirt. That's one of the trademarks this year, is that patch on his pants. Rather than use the rosin, oftentimes you just go ahead and use the dirt. Morrison makes the catch, and a 1-2-3 third for Jose Fernandez, the kid. And his final appearance is looking sharp with a 1-0 lead.
Presentado en SAP por Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
Jose Fernandez and the Marlins on top, 1-0.
They're voting for Jose for Rookie of the Year.
Mike Minor going for Atlanta. And it's top of the order. Danny Echeverria, Placido Polanco, Christian Yelich. Marlins got their run in the first. Echeverria had a base hit. He was erased on Polanco's double play ball. Yelich legged out an infield hit, moved up on a throwing error, and then Stanton scored him on a bloop single to right.
There's a couple of things in the offseason or certainly in spring training that I know the club would like to see Echeverria work on. Number one, every once in a while, try to drop down a bunt base hit. And number two, work on his base stealing skills. He has some stolen bases this year. He's been thrown out a lot. So you'd like to see a better percentage there.
One and two. As well, the hope is, as Echeverria's career continues, is that he manages the strike zone with a little more efficiency. And it's not necessarily in striking out. It's when you swing at a 1-0 pitch or you get yourself in the hitter's count, go after a pitch that you can hit, not just any pitch. That is strike 3 called. Gorgeous changeup from Mike Minor. Marlins Park, perfect place for happy hour, especially at the Clevelander. All Monday through Friday home games for just $20 per person. Get a ticket inside the Clevelander, a free domestic beer, and additional drink specials. Packages are restricted to guests 21 and older. Marlins.com/groups is the place to go. Polanco now. Polanco turns, hits one to left. It's deep, and it's up against the wall. And Placido Polanco, who late in the night last night pulled one for a double. He's got himself a one-out double here.
Yeah, last night he pulled a Craig Kimbrell fastball. He got on a fastball. This is a breaking ball by Minor. Either way, the veteran right-handed hitter hits the ball well and gets himself in scoring position.
Here's that matchup again. Minor against Yelich. And for Yelich, who was 0 for 6 with 4 punch-outs coming in, just getting that little dribbler to second for an infield hit is a big hurdle to get over.
The reason down the road you know that Christian Yelich is going to handle left-handers all right is because he has that knowledge of the strike zone.
And as you mentioned it, Yelich had a nice couple games back-to-back against tough lefties in which he had some hits. Travis Wood, one of those lefties.
Yeah, he had 3 hits in that game, hit a home run. His first AB off of Wood.
The game before, he faced another Wood, Alex Wood, and had 2 hits against him.
Oh, we haven't had a chance to scout the 25-year-old left-hander. Fastball has some sink to it. He uses all 4 pitches, and he has confidence in all of them anytime. Had a solid year last year for the Braves and another one this year.
Polanco at second, 1-0. Yelich takes away. The last thing Minor wants to do is walk Yelich and have to face Stanton.
Because if he gets Yelich, they may not pitch to Stanton. Why, you would think Christian Yelich would get a fastball here, but Minor can throw anything anytime.
And he threw anything anytime.
Little slider. That's what makes him so tough. There's a situation where you're saying, all right, Stanton's on deck, first base is open. He's got to give me a pretty good pitch to hit here, and he threw a real good slider. And in a great spot.
There was the fastball, and Yelich went after it. Counts 2-2.
So then a guy like Minor, when you get 2 strikes, you just have to expect anything.
Got a pretty good fastball, and he drives it to left. Gattis is over, and he makes the catch. Giancarlo Stanton got a bloop single to right, and it's the first hit against Minor that has not been a home run. And look at the distance on these suckers.
That's about 10 rows upper deck at Pro Player.
Wow, that was a blue seater. And then in Atlanta, driving one to right field on the last day of August this season. Minor throws a strike. Stanton takes it. Now, the RBI hit was not a thing of beauty. Dumped it into right field. Yelich scored. That's the only run of the ball game.
There's some other interesting pitchers that Stanton has homered 3 times off of, aside from Minor. Matt Cain, Jordan Zimmerman, and Evan Hernandez.
Well, you had to finish. There had to be some Washington Nationals in there with all the home runs he's hit against them. And Zimmerman and Levon. Well, I don't know if all 3 were as a national.
I would guess yes.
One and 2. Freddie Garcia starts for Atlanta tomorrow. Right now, some debate as to who will start for the Fish. Whether it's Nathan Eovaldi, who is scheduled. Stanton hits pop-up. Or possibly Brian Flynn. It's McCann, and he makes the catch. And the inning ends right behind home plate. The Marlins on top of the Braves. It's 1-0.
It's for the love of the game.
I'm the one, the ass, the only.
Last start of the year for 21-year-old Jose Fernandez, who when the year started wasn't 21, wasn't in the big leagues. But here he is pitching tonight with a terrific shot at becoming the 2013 National League Rookie of the Year. Freddie Freeman, fastball. Freeman lines it into right field. That's a base hit. Stanton picks it up. Freeman and Fernandez had that terrific back and forth with each other in Atlanta. And a base hit by Freeman opens up this the 4th inning. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Rich, thank you very much. You know, we talk about Jose Fernandez being loosey-goosey before the game. He'll talk to anybody. And today he looked over and noticed that camera behind home plate. And he said to Bob Fleming, our operator on Phantom Cam, is that bad blank camera? He said, I have got to see my curveball on that. I don't want to see my arm, though, because I saw Cishek when we ran that yesterday. So we got a good look there at the Phantom Cam curveball. He'll be able to break it down like never before. And by the way, the guy catching is Coy Hill tonight. Jeff Mathis had caught his last 12 starts, and Jose had an ERA of 1.44 with a 7-2 record. And I happened to be there when they came in today, and Fernandez gave a big hug to Mr. Mathis, Jeff walked in the red. He said, I wish I could go tonight, but his thumb is really banged up, bruised up, and he may not be back for a few more days at the very least. So, Coy Hill, the veteran, gets the start for Jose.
And I think, Craig, the good part about Coy Hill, he's been around. He's a veteran. He's watched Jose the last number of starts. He's had a chance to chat with Jeff Mathis. So it looks like they're working pretty well together.
Gattis up there with the count 0-2. Freeman's at first. Fernandez breaking ball is fouled back to the screen. We've seen the breaking ball on Phantom Cam, and amazing to see the spin of the ball and how it does tumble towards the hitter. Fernandez hasn't had the best command of that pitch tonight, and yet he's shutting out Atlanta 1-0. The Braves have 3 hits, the latest of which has Freeman planted at first base. 0-2. Got him. Gattis waves at him.
Thing about his breaking ball, he has variations of it. He'll have the one he starts at a right-hander. He'll have one a little harder than the other. He'll have one that he tries to get off the plate. And that time he got Gattis to chase it.
You can see him continue to blow on his hand. He does use the rosin bag, but not much. It's dirt or blow on the hand.
And there were some questions as to the dirt. Does he rub the dirt on the ball? No, he doesn't. We've talked to umpires about that, and they've said no. He just wipes it on his pants and gets the ball. There were some who thought, well, he's rubbing the ball up with dirt, and he's not. Just to get the moisture off the hand.
This is the curveball that just got Gattis.
We can see that ball and we can see that arm before Jose gets a chance to look at it.
Three balls, no strikes to McCann. Dangerous hitter. McCann slugging at .477 in 92 games. And he walked him. First walk of the night for Fernandez. And with one out, Chris Johnson, who when the day started was tied for the top spot in the National League hitting charts.
Unbeknownst to him, Michael Kadire had another good day.
Things change in a hurry, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Kadire had 3 hits last night, a couple of home runs, had 3 for 4 in their game today against the Giants. When you asked me before the game, Rich, about who would have thought Chris Johnson would be in a batting race, who would have thought he'd be in the race against Michael Kadire? Would be the next question.
Great point. Oh, 2.
I'll tell you one thing about Chris Johnson and Michael Kadire. They're both solid guys. They're solid players. They're solid citizens. They know how to play the game the right way.
Fernandez battling Johnson. Simmons is on deck. Pair of Braves out there. Freeman at second. McCann at first. Fernandez 0-2. Just out 1-2.
That's the pitch that he got Gattis to chase. Chris Johnson laid off him.
Don't have much speed out there at all with Freeman and McCann. Johnson fights off the breaking ball.
Freeman runs the bases pretty well, though. We've seen him do that.
3 strikeouts, a walk, 3 hits. That's what 3 1/3 innings have brought so far for Jose Fernandez. Leads all of baseball in opponents' batting average against him. Hitters came in hitting just 181 against him. Second in all of baseball in ERA at 2.33. Second to Clayton Kershaw. So as you look at numbers and Jose Fernandez, a lot of times people look at him and say, well, that's a pretty good standing as far as rookies go. And you have to blink and realize that those numbers aren't rookie numbers. They're numbers that are against everybody in the big leagues. And a swing and a miss. He strikes out Chris Johnson. And that brings up Andrelton Simmons, which begs the question, Tommy. Obviously, Rookie of the Year, he's one of the leading candidates. It's a nasty breaking ball. He's got to get some consideration for the Cy Young Award.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think he's going to win, but he's got to be in the top 3 or 4 at least. I mean, the other numbers, righties hitting 173 against him, lefties 189. He doesn't show favorites. At home, hitters are hitting 161 against him.
Now Simmons, who doubled in the second. The Braves don't have a run, but one thing they've been able to do is extend the rookie right-hander to 57 pitches.
Yeah, they've made him work in this inning after the leadoff single by Freeman and then walking McCann.
Two and 0. Big road trip coming up. A lot of games on the road trip. 4 in New York, 4 in D.C. Or excuse me, 3 in Philly, and then 4 in D.C. I forgot Philly is in between.
I've been a mix up there. It was a curveball for a strike, but watch Coy Hill. He gets crossed up. Amazingly enough, he catches the ball. But you saw how he thought it was fastball. He started to reach inside.
It's a nice job by the home plate umpire, Sam Holbrook, to call that a strike. That's over the last 3, 4, 5 years really been a point of emphasis for umpires, to call the pitch where it's thrown, not where it's caught.
I will say one thing, with a few exceptions of some of the strikeouts, the Braves have been pretty good at laying off that curveball off the plate or on the plate. It's been a small strike zone tonight from Sam Holbrook. There have been some borderline pitches that have not gone the way of Jose Fernandez.
3-1 pitch. Fastball out. Bags loaded. And Elliott Johnson coming up.
Remember that high strike on a breaking ball earlier in the game? That last breaking ball that had a piece of the zone.
Tomorrow it's a 12 o'clock start for Craig Minervini and Jeff Conine and Marlins Live, but South Florida Honda dealers will make sure they deliver them out to the center field set for Marlins Live. 12:30 start, Marlins and Braves. Fastball, a strike to Johnson. The switch hitting second baseman, who probably feels a lot like Dorothy in that in Kansas City he was awful. 179 average in 162 at bats. Suddenly he finds himself in Atlanta in a pennant race, and he's starting and playing well. Fernandez gets him to pop up. Morrison squeezes, and the kid wiggles out of the fourth. And so far, so good. 1-0 Miami. For great lease and finance deals on fuel-efficient Hondas. By Coventry Healthcare of Florida, lighting the way to better health. By Fernandez Dental. Go to Fernandez Dental for all your dental needs. Call today for a free evaluation. Our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Glad you're with us tonight. Marcell Ozuna lending a helping hand. Jose Fernandez was not happy when he got back into the dugout after that last inning. A couple of walks. Worked out of the bases loaded jam by getting Elliott Johnson to pop up. So the Braves don't have a run on 3 hits. The Marlins go back to work on Mike Minor. Justin Ruggiero takes a strike. Ed Lucas and Logan Morrison also featured here in the fourth.
And Jose has lowered that ERA to 2.17 with 4 shutout innings.
Toyota trend against lefty starters. Marlins are 19-26. They haven't beaten Minor yet, but they're 4-5 against the other Braves lefties. They got 4 wins against the other lefties. And a swing and a miss. Ruggiero goes down. Anton Minor has tightened up since that first inning. Miami got 3 hits in that first. Giancarlo Stanton delivered the run with a hit. Here's Lucas. Flied to left his first time up. The Reds finally got a win. They had scuffled in that series against the Cubs 6-0. Final from today. And a big win for the Pirates. They sweep the Rangers in Arlington. 7-5. Pittsburgh beats Texas.
Boy, those 2 teams matching up. I don't think anybody expected a sweep from either team.
A.J. Burnett beating Matt Garza. Pittsburgh a game behind St. Louis to start play tonight. St. Louis at home against Milwaukee. Here, the kid, Jose Fernandez, shutting out Atlanta. Through his 4 innings, Mike Minor working here in the bottom of the fourth. Two and two. Lucas punches one to right. Upton after it, not going to get it. Off the wall it goes. Ed Lucas to second, and he'll stop there. A one-out double. And a runner in scoring position for Logan Morrison.
I'll tell you, Ed Lucas tonight has had a couple of good swings. He just got under a ball in the second inning, hit it to left field. This ball he drives well the opposite field. So for Lucas against Mike Minor, he has 5 hits and 13 ABs. He's picked him up pretty well. Braves do a good job getting the ball back in quickly because Lucas was thinking 3.
I think that's one of the things that's overlooked about Atlanta. They're a very good defensive team. Braves are tied for 3rd in fielding percentage in the National League. Morrison fouls it back. The Cardinals and Arizona are the top 2 fielding teams in terms of percentage. Then the Reds and the Braves.
I'm still amazed at all the Cardinal hitters in that top 6 with runners in scoring position. Alan Craig's number 1, Matt Carpenter 3, Beltran 4, Holiday 5, Molina is 6th. Incredible.
How many of those hitters are in the top 10 of just plain old batting average?
4. 4 in the top 10. Good job by our good friend John Mabry. Mabes, hitting instructor with the Cardinals. Taken over from Mark McGuire, who's done all right in LA too.
Oh, 2. Ed Lucas at second. Marlins right now nursing a 1-0 lead. Slow breaking ball. He punches it into left. Here comes Lucas. They will send him. Gattis' throw, and he scores. Terrific job by Morrison, and it's 2-0.
That's a great battle, great at bat, terrific swing. The breaking ball is away. Logan Morrison stays right on it. Head is on the ball, doesn't pull it, goes the other way, scores Lucas, and a big run makes it a 2-0 lead. Good at bat off a tough lefty.
Coy Hill goes after the first pitch and fouls it back. Stanton and Morrison have driven in the runs. Backing up is Johnson, and Elliott Johnson gets a slide at second from Logan Morrison. Not sure he was going to get Hill. That would have been a tough one to turn, but Morrison made sure.
Well, with Hill running, though, I tell you, Elliott Johnson thought he had a chance. Hard baseball. I can say one thing, Rich, and I think you would agree, regardless of the 53-90 record, the Marlins have played hard, and Mike Redmond has gotten them out here every night, every day, and they've played the game hard. Maybe not always the way you'd like it with some errors involved, but they've played it hard.
Morrison specifically. I mean, that's a trademark of Logan Morrison. There's Fernandez, who takes down low. In fact, if you were in the 9th inning and the winning run was at 3rd, and you needed someone to break up a double play to get that run home, you could select any Marlin you wanted. Morrison's the guy. Fernandez in the center field, a base hit. Boy, the kid had 2 hits his last start. He's 1 for 2 here.
Look, he and Freeman share a moment. Well, it's his 10th hit on the air. He's 10 for 49, so he's taken his average over 200. He has a 3-game hitting streak, and that was a line drive.
Echeverria, top of the order. Bouncer up the middle. Simmons flips. And the out recorded. But Miami gets another run. Logan Morrison into left field for an RBI hit and a 2-0 lead. That's the score here. What's the score throughout the rest of the National League? FP&L brings you their scoreboard. The Reds, as we told you, finally got a win against the Cubs. Michael Kadire had a bunch of hits and took over the batting race lead in that game against the Giants. Nationals and Mets just underway. Padres, Phillies 1-1. And Milwaukee and St. Louis are underway. Bottom of the first, scoreless ball game. Rich Waltz, Tommy Hutton, along with Craig Minervini, our entire crack staff is here tonight, and everybody at the edge of their seat watching Jose Fernandez for the final time. So much so that we were able to enjoy the fine shots of Phantom Cam through the first few innings. Phantom Cam has taken a brief timeout and will be re-emerging at a camera location to be disclosed shortly.
Well, we've been able to watch Jose Fernandez put on a show all year. His enthusiasm, his just a genuine love for the game.
Morrison got a piece of it, and the throw to first is not in time. And Mike Minor, the Braves pitcher, leads off with an infield hit you would expect, as Morrison left his feet, and it is a hit.
A good effort by Lomo. He just knew he had to try to knock it down, but it just squibbed a little bit too far away from him.
Here now is Jordan Schaefer.
So the Braves, with the exception of the third inning, have had a base runner every inning, at least one.
And this is, for Fernandez, not been the normal start. The routine that Fernandez usually follows is he's either dominating like he was against the Nationals, or he gives up a couple early runs, then he dominates. But here in this one, he's really had to pitch every inning.
He's had to battle. He's had to battle.
Popped up. Coy Hill won't get there, but he gave it a run.
And because of the way he's had to battle, because the pitch count is up to 67, you don't expect him to go more than 6. Right now you're hoping he can get 6 shutout innings in. That curveball hasn't been there consistently tonight.
It's amazing to think you're watching a guy that had not pitched above single A, just been a pro for a year and a half, and came into camp with the hopes of being on that double A rotation and possibly getting to the big leagues by the end of the year. And as Jose said, that curveball misses away as well. As Jose said, it worked out a little better than I planned. Of course, an all-star game appearance, which was fabulous. So a 1-2-3 inning with a pair of punch-outs.
A couple of strikeouts.
2-2. Got that breaking ball in there, and Polanco gladly steps over and makes the catch. Minor is still at first, and we check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Well, Rich, as you know, Logan Morrison's late dad Tom spent his life of service in the United States Coast Guard. And today, Logan went back to one of the local fire departments, Department number 5, which is his number, of course, near the University of Miami campus. Got a chance to play fireman. And this day of remembrance with Miami's heroes, took a ride around, got a chance to cook and enjoy some food, and had some nice time. He just kind of talking with the fellas over there at station number 5. He wanted to say a special hello. They returned the favor with a beautiful shirt that he got a chance to get when he got here to the ballpark. And on this day of remembrance, Logan Morrison, and very close to heart also for Tom Kohler, whose dad was a first responder working for the NYPD for a long time, and he was on the scene and thankfully is okay, but was also helping out back in 2001. Guys?
Thank you, Craig. The 1-0 is up. It's safe to say that having been with this organization for 9 years, Logan Morrison is the most active player in the community that I've been around as a Marlin. And whether it's his fight for funds for cancer research, his father died of non-smoking lung cancer, or any other charitable cause, Morrison is out there, and it doesn't always get reported. He doesn't look for the limelight. A close second is the kid on the mound. I mean, Jose Fernandez, Tommy, has been absolutely fabulous this year in the community with kids organizations, donating his time, donating money. And you just don't see that from someone who's 20 years old and stepping into the big leagues.
Yeah, the Marlins are blessed to have a couple of guys like Logan Morrison and Jose, and others do things, but these guys step up front. And as you mentioned, Rich, they don't do it for the limelight.
One out, Justin Upton with the count full, 3-2.
The absolutely amazing thing about Jose Fernandez, as we've watched him, this is his 28th start of the year, compared to that last start where he was just dominant, all 3 of his pitches, and he threw 7 shutout innings. He's not as dominant. He's had to really work, but he still hasn't allowed a run to the Braves.
3-2 to Upton, and he fouls it back.
And the great ones over the years always knew how to get by when they didn't have their best command, their best stuff. They just hung in there and they gave you a chance to win.
Drive, left center. It's deep. Ruggiano tracking it, makes the catch. Runner tags. Minor coming to second. Strong throw. Is safe. Just got in there. Wow. Terrific throw by Ruggiano, and Minor for a pitcher with a nifty slide to get in there with a left foot.
Boy, a deep part of the ballpark. Ruggiano comes up with a really good throw. But, yeah, you credit Minor, number one, with the nice slide and the fact that he was able to stay on the bag. And you saw Lucas just reach. He missed him. Jose thought he had him. Didn't have the right angle, though. Good throw by Ruggiano, though. And not too many pitchers are going to tag up and make a slide like that either.
It's a big 90 feet because Fernandez is facing a guy that has really hurt him this year, and that's Freddie Freeman. Freeman 1 for 2, a line drive single, and is struck out. Now 3 for 5 against Fernandez. Broken bat, look out! Wow! That almost got him. And he gets the out at first. That short of the bat, the business end, flew right by Fernandez as he was crouched to get the ground ball. Watch this. Marlins tonight with Tommy Hunt, Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine, Rich Waltz with you. Jose Fernandez has not been dominant, but look at the numbers. The Marlins have a 2-0 lead. Fernandez fielding that ground ball with the bat flying by him to finish off the fifth, get Freddie Freeman. And now the Marlins will try to add on here against Mike Minor, who's pitched well. Fernandez in a much better mood this half inning than he was last half inning.
Yeah, I like Marcell Ozuna has been his corner man. He's helped him out when he gets into the corner. Yeah, that was an unbelievable play because you think about the concentration on a ball hit right back at you, which you pick up right away, and then all of a sudden, out of the corner of one of your eyes, you see part of a bat. You don't know if it's a big part, a little part. There it comes, and he's still able to make the play, get out of the way, and throw out Freeman.
Polanco, who doubled in the third, and then Yelich and Stanton against Minor. Two little hot sauce spotlight player. Placido Polanco, career against lefties, good. Career against Minor, good. 1 for 2 in this one, a double. Bounce into a double play.
Now Polanco has stayed consistent. You saw that 309 career, 303 this year against lefties.
Polanco fights off the 1-1. David Hale in the bullpen.
Placido Polanco 7 times in his career a 300 hitter. Hit 341 in 2007 with the Tigers.
Into center, a base hit. Polanco continues his good swinging against Minor and lefties. Time now for the Just for Men Mustache and Beard Play Like a Champ profile. Jose Fernandez, consecutive home wins. Look at that. Marlins all time. That's amazing. With all the great pitchers the Marlins have had, from Beckett, Kevin Brown to Burnett to Dontrell, Josh Johnson.
All those pitchers, it's taken a 21-year-old from Cuba to be on top.
Yelich fouls it away. Phantom Cam is back up and running. New position. Now we find it third base side. Polanco has an interesting swing there because it's a compact swing, but he releases the hand, where you often see that with a
guy with a longer swing.
Yeah. Short compact swing. Most guys keep 2 hands on the bat.
That's a good look for kids, because a lot of times kids see that top hand, they see guys swing that way, and they take that swing and they release it too soon. You saw how long it took for Polanco to finally get that top hand off to let him come through after he made contact.
And after he was well through the ball.
Yeah.
Mike Minor, his 2-2 coming to Yelich. It's a good take. All right, full count. You got a 2-0 lead. You do have Stanton on deck.
Still, as we talked earlier about Minor, remember we saw Yelich up there with first base open. He's still got a breaking ball, 2-0.
And Yelich rolls it up the middle. Simmons the turn. He beat it. Delayed call there by Andy Fletcher. Freeman was about to throw it around the infield. But Yelich got up the line. And he continues to surprise you with his foot speed.
Yeah, I think we see a little bit of it. And he did beat it out. And I like the way Andy Fletcher took his time. He wanted to make sure.
Stanton pulls one foul now. Giancarlo Stanton delivered the first run of the night. A single to right, back in the first. He's popped out. Ball and a strike. So now 4 hits in 18 at bats against Minor, 3 of them home runs. At stake here tonight for the Atlanta Braves. They'd like to keep winning. They'd like to keep home field advantage in the postseason. 87 and 57. The Dodgers open play with 85 wins. The Cardinals open play with 84 wins.
Yeah, the Dodgers just keep on winning. Extra inning. Walk-off win last night against Arizona.
Stanton got a good piece of that. It's deep, and it's gone! Wow! Dead central.
How does he do that? He is so strong.
5 career hits against Minor. 4 have been homers. 3 of the 4 have been tape measure shots.
Add this one to the list. I mean, it looks like he's fooled. Off speed. It's a good pitch by Minor. And straight away center field, they call that big man's territory.
If you watch that swing again, it looks like he's lunging for the ball.
Yeah, like he was fooled.
And he is. He is absolutely diving out over the plate after that ball. And then he goes and hits it 420 feet. Ruggiano with a high fly ball. Gattis plants himself and makes the catch.
And the power was all supplied by Giancarlo. It was a 79 mile an hour pitch. Off the plate. He's lunging. And crushes it.
A 105 miles an hour off the bat. That's the exit speed.
15, Rich, of his 20 home runs have been hit here at Marlins Park.
Lucas pops it high in the air. Schaefer is under it. But the Marlins add 2. Giancarlo Stanton hits his 20th. And with the kid on the mound, the Marlins have built a 4-0 lead. Headed to the 6th in Miami tonight. Tires that go the distance, inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Giancarlo Stanton, a 2-run homer. He's driven in 3 of the 4 runs. And with the kid on the mound in his 2013 rookie year finale, the Marlins have a 4-0 lead, and he can set his sights, Fernandez can, on Evan Gattis, Brian McCann, and Chris Johnson. This is the teeth of the order for the Braves in the 6th. Gattis drives one deep left field. That's not coming back. Wow, that's way out of here.
Well, with a 4-0 lead, Jose Fernandez said, get ahead, throw that good fastball. But Evan Gattis can catch up with a fastball, and he hit that one a long way.
It's a Clevelander home run.
It's a 19th on the year for Gattis. He has more home runs than any rookie in the major leagues, even with time spent on the disabled list.
We've just seen 2 strong men hit 2 balls a long ways. Stanton and Gattis. 2 of the strongest in the game.
You and I were talking between innings. This inning for Jose, very important, and could determine whether he's done after 6 innings or he gives Mike Redmond 1 more.
Bouncer, Lucas to his left. 1 out in the 6th. Nick Corlight, Marlins watch parties coming up on Friday the 13th. Sports Grill in Kendall. Marlins and Mets, 7:10. Win prizes and tickets to upcoming games. Meet Billy and the Energy Team. Enjoy great wings and Corona Light specials at Sports Grill in Kendall. McCann is out number 1. Well, important inning for a couple reasons. Number 1, his ball club is up 4-0. Stanton just hit a 2-run homer. There's lots of momentum. But if he can get through this group of hitters, obviously Gattis homer, but he's got Johnson and Simmons up, then he could come out and pitch the 7th with 8-9 coming up. Yelich after this ball, and he's there and he makes the catch. So now if he can get Simmons, he could open the 7th by facing the 8-hitter to open the inning. Thursday night, college football returns. Fox Sports 1. Florida Atlantic takes on East Carolina. And then on Saturday the 13th, Oklahoma State battles the University of Texas at San Antonio, followed by Louisiana Lafayette taking on Kansas State. West Virginia taking on Oklahoma. You know what? That's last week. Fastball misses up. That's Hut. That's last week. Am I?
How'd they do?
I don't know. Well, if you'd like to know, Washington State upset USC. Into right, Stanton, and he makes the catch. Stanton makes the catch, a running catch on the track.
Just do it all, G.
That's right. Stanton says, hey, get that USC promo off the air. I was going to go play football there. Jose Fernandez, in that last sequence, after getting Chris Johnson out, and after he got Simmons out, there was something going on between the Braves bench and Fernandez. Now, we've seen Fernandez have friendly dialogues with a couple of Braves this year, but when he got to the dugout, he was hot.
Yeah, a lot
Still.
of guys in the dugout tried to calm him down. Joe Espada, Chuck Hernandez, Mike Redmond. Bottom line, he had an 8-pitch inning.
He had some help. He had a nice running catch by Giancarlo Stanton. Morrison to center. Schaefer is back. And he makes the catch. So 4-1, bottom 6. Coors Light brings you Freeze Cam. Baseball or bat? Or both? Thankfully for Jose, you saw Freeman actually put the hand up almost to say, hey, get out of the way. Those two have been of the Braves that Fernandez has struck up a conversation with in his 2 starts against him. Freeman and McCann have probably been the two that he's been not only cordial with, but almost had fun with.
Yeah. Even though Freeman's hitting pretty well.
I believe he and Freeman struck up a friendship at the All-Star game. Fernandez is coming up next. Coy Hill is up right now. One and 2 to Hill. He singled back in the second. And Hill strikes out. Here comes Fernandez. So my suspicion is that whatever beef Fernandez has with the Braves, I don't think it's with the entire club. I think there's an individual in there that was on him.
Yeah, I would agree. And by the way, with that 8-pitch inning, Jose on the night has thrown 87 pitches through his 6 innings.
Minor takes down low. So Fernandez given up a run on 5 hits. Fernandez, left field. It's deep. It is gone. He got it. The kid in his last game homers to left.
We told you to come out. We told you to watch this one tonight. And I don't care if he took a peek at it. It's his first one.
Chris Johnson is coming after Fernandez.
That's who was chomping at him then.
And now the bench is empty.
They're on him for taking a peek. He stood at the plate and watched. I understand that.
Chris Johnson came charging from his third base spot after Fernandez, who was talking to McCann. And now the bullpen's empty as well. Johnson being separated. You see Chad Qualls has a hand on him.
So that tells us, Rich, who it was that was getting the attention of Jose last inning. It was Chris Johnson. And then Jose set it off by standing at the plate and admiring the home run.
Johnson is still going nuts right now. Well, Fernandez finally hits a home run. So he watched it. And that may have set Johnson off even more right there.
It did. Now, Jose did some 21-year-old things during that sequence. Chris Johnson's from a baseball background. He understands that whole thing. And Jose, yeah, he acted like a kid in that situation. He paused. He watched the home run. Shouldn't have done that. When he ran around third, little look at the ground. Looked like he spit. Didn't spit toward Johnson. And that set off Johnson. And then I think McCann is just trying to say, hey, kid, you just don't do that up here.
I don't understand Johnson running in from third base. Watch Johnson from third.
See Johnson use his hand like talking. It's something that Jose said or something that he just didn't like.
The umpires are in discussion right now about what, I'm not sure. Whether someone's going to be ejected. Terry Pendleton down there right now. You can see Freddie Gonzalez joins the conversation. Joe West, the veteran umpire, trying to calm everybody down in the dugout.
The bottom line, we've had a little excitement here, Rich. We saw Jose Fernandez hit his first major league home run. We saw him act like a 21-year-old, which has upset the Braves. And then all hell broke loose.
Here's Echeverria now.
They haven't been around Puig a whole lot of times, I guess. Have the Braves played the Dodgers?
Well, I guess the only thing we can do is go back to Johnson's at bat against Fernandez to see if we can find where this all started. Here's Johnson's at bat against Fernandez. And Johnson
he's chirping at him before I think Jose says anything. Shaking his head, making a face. So there's always two sides. There are always two sides.
Fernandez, meanwhile, with 2 outs, gets ready to come out and pitch the 7th. He'll face Johnson, but it's Elliott to lead off the inning. Echeverria with a pop out into shallow center. And Schaefer comes on and makes the catch. Lost in all this is that the kid finally hit a home run.
Yeah.
And the Marlins lead at 5-1. here tonight in Miami, the Marlins and the Braves, and things have gotten real interesting. You've got a 21-year-old trying to finish off a Rookie of the Year campaign. He's beating the Braves. You've got a veteran third baseman who was
fighting for a batting title,
and in his at-bat against Fernandez was having words with him during the at-bat and after he flew out. And then Fernandez comes up the next inning, homers, watched the ball leave, and then as he jogged around third, appeared to spit near the bag. As he got to the plate, Johnson sprinted him from third while Fernandez was jawing with Brian McCann. Both benches empty. Nobody was ejected. But it certainly has stirred things up as Elliott Johnson flies out to left.
So I think as we've gone through this whole scenario, there were some things said to Jose Fernandez by Chris Johnson after his at-bat, after he flew out.
And who knows if that's the beginning of it. That might be a continuation of it. But as we went back on video and found the Johnson at-bat, you could see clearly that after one pitch that he took and after the ball that he hit in the outfield, he was having a dialogue, and not a pleasant one, with Fernandez. I've never seen a third baseman charge the plate, which is essentially what Johnson did.
He did.
You know, I've seen hitters charge the mound. I've seen pitchers charge the plate. But a third baseman come running into home plate like that is not something you see. I think if you're looking for culpability in this and who's to blame, you'll probably find both sides feel slighted by the other. Johnson probably wasn't happy with Fernandez at some point, either in this game or the last time they played. Fernandez was not appreciative of the dialogue or whatever was said to him during the at-bat. The home run by Fernandez, I'm sure the Braves didn't appreciate that he stood and watched. Jordan Schaefer up right now. And right now, Fernandez got to compose himself and get through this inning, because the big bats are right around the bend. And I think Chuck Hernandez senses that, and he's on his way out to the mound.
Chuck's going to go out and tell him, look, you need to get 2 more outs here. These are your last 2 outs you're going to get this year. Finish strong, concentrate, get it back together. Did you think about all the emotion that he went through last inning?
Well, and we've seen Fernandez when he's emotional, and it's not great in terms of pitch location and command. That start in St. Pete against Tampa Bay in front of friends and family may be his worst start of his young professional career.
It's amazing, that whole scenario. Had we not seen Chris Johnson chirping at Jose, we would have thought something was said by McCann to Jose when he crossed the plate because of the way he looked and admired the home run. But that wasn't the case. That just added fuel to the fire.
Breaking ball, Fernandez out there, safe there. Freddie Gonzalez going to go argue out at second base. And he may have a beef.
It's the old neighborhood, and I'm not sure Echeverria was real close to the neighborhood out there. It's a play that Etch has to just think 1. You're not going to turn 2 with Schaefer the runner. And Etch cheats just a little bit, probably more than a little bit. And he really didn't need to, because you're really not going to turn 2 there because of the way Schaefer runs. Freddie's not going to win that argument, and they're 2 down.
So it's fielder's choice. Here comes Upton. When the ball hits glove, freeze it.
It's close. It's a lot closer than it looks to the naked eye. So it's great footwork by Echeverria. And you know what? Simmons would do the same.
A breaking ball to Justin Upton.
Talk about all the starters other than Jose who've not been able to take a game into the 7th inning. And once again, Jose Fernandez has his team into the 7th inning.
Another throw to first. Obviously, what we've seen transpire here, all we can do is see and determine from what we've seen. There's got to be more backstory to what's happened here tonight. Swing and a miss. Upton trying to send that one deep. The one thing I know for sure is that the Braves are going to see a lot of Fernandez, and Fernandez is going to see a lot of the Braves in years to come.
Nice. Crowd's really into this right here.
1-2. Got him! If that's the last pitch he throws in 2013, we're looking at the National League Rookie of the Year.
He got the concentration back. He had Schaefer, and he put away Justin Upton with maybe his best curveball of the night.
Jose Fernandez strikes out Justin Upton, and the Marlins lead this ball game 5-1. And here tonight in Miami on 9/11,
we
go to
by Sergeant Henry
God
Guzman
Bless America
of the South Miami Police Department.
We will never forget. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the light with the light from above, from the mountains through the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet
All right, fans, it's time for the 7th inning stretch.
here on 9/11. We go back to 2001. On the 21st of September, when the Braves and the Mets resumed the Major League season in New York. It was an emotional night as baseball resumed, and it had a dramatic turn to it with Mike Piazza's late-game home run, which provided the winning cushion for New York. Here tonight, Marlins rookie sensation Jose Fernandez beating the Braves 5-1, probably done for the night. And if that's the case, he's done for the season.
Another thing about this game, Rich, I don't want to say it's lost in Jose's performance, but against a very talented left-hander, the Marlins have banged out 11 hits and scored 5 runs against Mike Minor. A left-hander, it'll be their 1 or 2 pitcher in postseason.
Anthony Barvero here. Polanco pops one out into shallow right center field. Schaefer makes the catch. Marlins.com, your one-stop shop for breaking news, tickets, sweepstakes, merchandise, and more. Check out the new Marlins Park seat views for an interactive 360-degree experience from anywhere in the ballpark. Picking out your seats, purchasing tickets has never been faster or more convenient. Go to Marlins.com.
So the final line, and we're assuming it is, for Jose Fernandez, 7 innings, 5 hits, a run, 5 strikeouts, and lowered his earned run average to 2.19.
It's a nice number. It would be even nicer if he can add his 12th win.
Yes.
And for that, the Marlins bullpen will have to deliver it. And for good measure, he hit his first home run.
He just has an eye for the dramatic.
Yelich sends it foul. Counts 0-2. So the Marlins have hit 2 home runs. Giancarlo Stanton and Jose Fernandez. Yelich in the gap. That's extra bases. To the wall it goes. It's Schaefer who picks it up. A 2-hit night for Christian Yelich.
You know, a 2-hit night on a hanging breaking ball, he just stays back and drives that pitch. We've seen him do that a number of times. But an impressive bit of base running in the 5th inning when he hit that ground ball and beat out a possible double play. That set up the home run for Stanton. A nice night for Christian Yelich.
Braves are going to walk Stanton. And with good reason. This was against Mike Minor. And this was a 2-run shot that disappeared.
Mike Minor would probably say he made the pitch where he wanted to. Off speed, down, away, might have been off the plate. Had Stanton leaning a little bit out front, and he still drove it over 400 feet. The estimated distance, Rich, 436 on Stanton's home run.
That's a pretty good estimate. Usually the estimated distances come in a little low.
Yeah, I'll buy that one.
Here's Rucciano. Rucciano pulls it. And it's a foul ball. So with the Marlins pen active, looks like Jose Fernandez's season is done. Here's another number on a night of numbers, certainly. Fernandez goes 2 for 3. He ends up hitting .220.
And he ties Henderson Alvarez in that home run department for pitchers. Each with 1.
To Ruggiano. Barbaro to the plate. Well, for the Marlins to get a win here tonight, significant because the Braves have absolutely handed them their lunch, dinner, whatever you want for the last 2 seasons. Shallow right, Upton charging. Out goes Elliott Johnson, and he makes the catch. That was actually called an infield fly, which is significant if you follow the Braves or the Cardinals or the National League postseason. If we could see that again, remember Freddie Gonzalez in shallow left field last year arguing that call in the wild card game? And the ball that dropped in. Watch how deep this is out into the outfield grass, but the first base umpire, Andy Fletcher, called this an infield fly.
And called it right away, too.
Last year, the Braves beat the Marlins 14 out of 18 times. This year, Atlanta has won 12 of 17. Lucas takes up. Ed Lucas doubled in the 4th. Miami with 12 hits. And a lot of the damage done against the guy that really handled them in Minor. Tommy documented not only his success against the Marlins, but this year in 5 starts he had dominated the Fish.
Which, as you were talking about with Jose, when you see a team this many times, very easily Jose Fernandez could have 5 or 6 starts against the Braves next year.
Yeah, well, that was my point with the whole Johnson Fernandez thing. Two and two. Slapped over to the right side. Johnson goes to first in time. Anthony Barbaro works an uneventful bottom of the 7th. 5-1 Marlins. Summary.
We're just going to try to walk you through this whole Jose Fernandez, Chris Johnson scenario. When Johnson hit the fly ball out, he was saying something to Fernandez when he went up the line. And then when the final out of the inning was recorded, there were still some things being said. He looked over, he said some things back. Then he stands and admires his first ever home run. Johnson's still talking to him. You can see Johnson's lips moving when he rounds the bag. And I think McCann tries to be peacemaker. And at that time, here comes Johnson. But look where he comes. He races in. And then he's putting his hands up in a chirping motion. He was kind of the one doing some chirping himself.
Look, if you're going to run from third base and charge someone at the plate, don't hide behind the umpire. I mean,
you're going to charge, you're going to charge. He used home plate umpire Sam Holbrook to set the screen.
I think, and you just saw that exchange right there. I think Fernandez and Freddie Freeman, as Freeman's coming up to the plate, those two are looking at each other. They're on much more friendly terms than the other corner infielder of the Braves. I think, as I said, in that sequence, I think there is blame on both sides.
I agree with you. And I think the way I put it is that we saw a 21-year-old do some things that 21-year-olds do. But we've also seen the thing we've seen all year in Jose Fernandez. He's always learned from whatever he's done, whether it be good or bad.
Done with a breaking ball that misses in. Freeman, Evan Gattis, Brian McCann.
Trust me, there have been many others who have admired home runs just like that. Whether it's good or bad, it's done a lot more than it used to be.
Here's the 1-1. One-two. And Dunn misses away. These two teams right back at it tomorrow. Noon start. Marlins live. 12:40 first pitch. Who throws that first pitch, I guess, is still somewhat in question, whether it's Nathan Eovaldi or Brian Flynn. Mike Redmond telling the media that Eovaldi had a stiff back. Marlins were likely to move Flynn up. There's been no official announcement yet. Freeman goes down on strikes.
Hey, the bullpen in the previous two games of this series, the bullpen has not allowed a run, and they've had to work a lot. So that's been a real bright spot. Last night, Tom Kohler went 5 innings, so the bullpen handled 4 scoreless innings. The night before, with Henderson Alvarez going 4 innings, the bullpen went 5 innings. And they've given up just 1 hit during that time.
All I know is if fisticuffs were to break out and I were a opponent of the Braves, that's one guy right there that I would get as far away as I could from, and that's Evan Gattis. Gattis to left field, hits another one deep. Yelich reaching for the wall, will catch it right on the track. Gattis homered back in the 6th. And here comes Brian McCann.
You know, the crowd booing McCann, but I really do think McCann was trying to be the peacemaker.
Cold hard fact, hits against the Marlins catchers. He's behind Piazza, but gaining on him.
If they're going to boo McCann that way, what are they going to do when the next guy hits?
I'm with you, Hut. I think McCann was just playing peacemaker and trying to diffuse it and just tell Fernandez, hey, look, you can't stand there.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
all. That's all he was doing.
And McCann fouls it back to the screen. And we saw on the 31st of August, and we saw earlier tonight, that McCann and Fernandez actually have a very cordial relationship. At least they have on the diamond up until that point. To center. Ruggiano makes the catch. Mike Dunn goes 1-2-3 in the 8th. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Marlins Park, the Goodyear blimp, high above. Bottom of the 8th, 5-1 Fish. The Marlins and Jose Fernandez finale in 2013. Need 3 outs to secure Fernandez's 12th win of the year and send him on his way towards the Rookie of the Year balloting with a 2.19 ERA.
And needless to say, it's been an entertaining evening.
Here's Morrison. And he chops the pitch towards Freeman, who makes an awkward throw. A nice pickup by Varvaro. Morrison is out number 1. Varvaro continues on his 2nd inning in relief. This was a Mike Minor start. 6 innings, 11 hits. For a guy that doesn't give up a lot of hits. Opponents hitting just .227 against the Vanderbilt lefty. 5 runs, 4 earned, no walks, 4 strikeouts.
No, you're right. He came into the game, Rich, in 179 2/3 innings. He'd given up just 150 hits. Steve Cishek gets ready.
Gattis gives it a run. It's into the seats. Juan Pierre on deck. Coy Hill flips one into left. Gattis Can't quite make the shoe top catch. And it's going to be a base hit.
Well, a nice night for Coy Hill, who, after all those starts that Jose had with Jeff Mathis back there, got the call this evening, did a nice job behind the plate, and has a 2-hit night.
So here's Pierre, and obviously for the rest of the year, with every at-bat for Pierre, you take a peek at where he is on the all-time hit list. Pierre at 2,213. Next up, he's 2 away from some guy named Joe DiMaggio, which in discussions and examination, it's amazing that that's all that Joe DiMaggio had. For as much as Joe DiMaggio was able to accomplish in the big leagues, you would have thought, without really looking it up, that Joltin' Joe had close to 3,000 hits.
Well, he lost time in the service. He didn't play until he was 40.
Freeman knocks it down, steps on the bag. Hill's going to get to second base. Joe DiMaggio, in his career, lost 3 years to military service, 3 key years. He played only 13 seasons.
I want to say, if just checking on my memory, which is always scary in reading about Joe DiMaggio, he had some back problems. I think the back problems shortened the career. He was 36 his last year.
DiMaggio would finish with a batting average of .325, an on-base percentage of .398, and a slugging percentage of .579.
Look at the home runs and strikeouts.
Yeah, that's the amazing thing. The strikeouts, just 369 strikeouts, 361 home runs.
That's incredible.
And he walked 790 times. Liner to second. And Elliott Johnson has it. Steve Cishek's coming in. Marlins try to wrap this one up for Jose. And the Fish trying to finish this for Jose Fernandez, who is in line for win number 12. Fernandez gave up the 1 run, the poll, the AT&T U-verse poll. Rookie of the year, make your choice, Jose or Puig. And as you would expect on a Marlins telecast, Jose 95-5. And he's still getting counsel from Chuck Hernandez.
And I think Rich Vin Scully would expect the opposite on a Dodger telecast. Maybe, though, I think Jose would get more than 5%, though.
Steve Cishek, and Cishek enters the ball game. Obviously not a save spot. And Chris Johnson comes to the plate. He'll lead off the inning. Johnson, if you've just joined us, was involved not in an altercation, but in a verbal exchange spread out over a couple of innings, at least from what we could tell, between Jose Fernandez and Johnson. And it spilled over with Johnson charging the plate after Fernandez had homered, while Fernandez was in discussion with Brian McCann.
See, the crowd couldn't capture the whole essence of that because McCann got booed a lot more than Chris Johnson. I don't think Johnson got any boos.
I think it's with good reason. I didn't hear the PA announcer announce his name. I think he came to the plate while the music was still playing, and he got to the plate, and there was no now batting. Meanwhile, Cishek's out in front of him 0-2. Simmons and Elliott Johnson to follow.
Well, Chris Johnson against Jose Fernandez so far in their young battles against each other is 0 for 6. He lost the hold of the batting race tonight. He's down to 328. We told you Michael Kadire got 3 hits today. He's up to 334.
Stays on the breaking ball and fights it off. Now, 2 guys you wouldn't expect to be battling for a batting crown in mid-September. Johnson and Kadire. But Johnson has been for the Braves a great year. But they've needed some guys like Johnson to step up in the absence of B.J. Upton and Dan Uggla, who are struggling so mightily they're not even in the lineup right now. Cishek thought he had a strikeout. And the count's 3-2. I mean, Uggla came in the first 2 games of this series as a defensive replacement late in the ballgame. Ground ball second. Lucas makes the play to first.
You know, the other thing amazing about 2 guys like Kadire and Johnson trying to win that batting title, they're both right-handed hitters. Neither runs real well. But look out for Jason Worth. He's on their tail as well. Jason Worth tonight 1 for 4. He's at 328.
Andrelton Simmons was doubled, walked, flied out. Simmons drives that ball deep left center field. That's a long run. Ruggiano not going to get it. It's over his head. Simmons streaking around second. And he'll downshift and ease into third base. So a triple by the Braves shortstop. Simmons has a double and a triple tonight. You can order food directly from your smartphone. Upgrade your seats for the ball game instantly from the palm of your hand. Download the MLB.com at the ballpark mobile app. These features and more. Check in through the app to earn free tickets. Download the free MLB.com at the ballpark app today.
Well, with a double and a triple tonight, 11 of Andrelton Simmons' last 14 hits have been extra base hits.
Here's Elliott Johnson, who has picked up playing time in the absence of both Uggla and B.J. Upton. We've seen Johnson in the outfield in this series He's been at second base. And he swung the bat well, which has earned him a spot in Freddie's lineup. Ruggiano stops it. Elliott Johnson's got himself another double. So he's got 4 hits in the series. And the Braves have another run. It's 5-2. And here is Dan Uggla. Pinch hitting for the pitcher.
We haven't seen this too often from Steve Cishek. Just go over his last 5 outings. He's not allowed to run, just a couple of hits in 5 innings.
Oh, 2. 1 out, 9th inning, 5-2. Marlins on top. And Elliott Johnson in scoring position. Down goes Uggla. And his struggles continue. That brings up Jordan Schaefer. Schaefer's another guy we talked about. Elliott Johnson, Chris Johnson, the year that he's had, and Schaefer has been able to fill that spot. With Jason Hayward out, Hayward little by little seems like he's getting closer to starting some sort of rehab activity. They've removed some of the hardware from his jaw.
Yeah, their hopes or that they can get him in 4, 5, 6 games before they go to postseason.
After the game, Marlins Live, presented by Checkers. Jose's last start. Be interesting to hear Jeff Conine's take on what he has seen tonight. Come on, Niner. You never charged the plate from third base, did you?
Well, we know if he didn't come around the back of the umpire.
Both locker rooms with reaction on Marlins Live. So stick around. You'll get to hear from both clubhouses. You'll get to hear from Mike Redmond. Certainly you'll hear from Jose Fernandez. We'll try to get reaction from Chris Johnson as well. It'll be an interesting listen just to get a perspective. For now, the Marlins trying to finish off the Braves and deliver win number 12 to Jose Fernandez. If the Marlins win this ball game, it'll be their 31st win at home. That's not a lot. And of those 31, if they win this game, 13 will have been Jose starts.
If he's the winner tonight, he'll go to 9-0 at home this year.
I think he went, and he did. And it's over, and the Marlins win it. And Jose Fernandez gets the win. The Fish beat the Braves. The last start of 2013, and Fernandez is outstanding. He's now 12-6, and he will take with him to the ballot box for Rookie of the Year, a 2.19 ERA. Giancarlo Stanton with a long homer to center. Don't forget, Jose homered as well. And that is not it. Stick around.